Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Glassman's World. I'm Dan the Glassman, and I wanted to share with you this little trick here. If you're wanting to earn some side money, a little bit of extra cash on the side here, or even if you just need to find some way to make any sort of cash right now, I wanted to share with you this quick little tip and trick here. So for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, I've been on a site called Nextdoor.com, right? And Nextdoor.com, it's like a kind of like a Facebook page, but set up more so for neighbors to connect with one another. So you can actually connect with, your neighbors across the street, people in your neighborhood, people in neighborhoods next to you, things like that. And so 10 years ago, I was heavily into doing a, where'd my tool go? Oh, there it is. So I was doing a lot of work in my own garden, right? And I decided, you know what? I need some leaves. I was making my own compost, and so I decided I would post up that I would offer my time to help people rake up their leaves during the fall. It's like right when all the leaves start falling. People always need that help, Some people can take care, manage it all on their own. But there's a lot of people who are so busy, such as myself. I'm so busy that I don't have time to do things around my own home because I'm always so busy here doing a little side hustle, little work. So I offered to start cleaning people's yards at $10 an hour to simply just rake up their leaves, not to pull weeds, not to do any other sort of yard work, just simply to pull, to rake leaves. That way I could bag up only leaves and make sure that I wasn't getting a whole bunch of like goat heads, sticker bushes, a lot of the nightshades, all kinds of that stuff. I didn't want any of that in my garden. I didn't want that to all start seeding in my compost. So I simply was just asking people if they needed help with raking up their yard. So that was 10 years ago, guys. And I didn't know I was going to end up continuing to do this 10 years later. That was just something I just wanted to do real quick. Just so I can get some compost. That was it. It wasn't supposed to go any further than that. But then, some individuals, they liked my work. They wanted to see if I would be willing to do other work for them. So then, I started offering to do other work, yard work, pulling weeds, raking, mowing the lawn, raking up the leaves, helping with building garden beds and things like that, and teaching people how to make their own compost with their own leaves and stuff. So I started doing that at $15 an hour, and I was really happy. With 15 bucks an hour, I'd be able to go out for 2 to 4 hours make a little bit of side money for the day, right? And that was cool. And then people started asking me to do other sorts of jobs, like cleaning out ponds and trimming trees, climbing up into trees and cutting trees all the way down and stuff like that. And then they were like, we'll pay you $20 an hour. And I was like, wow, you're gonna offer to pay me 20 an hour when I've been doing this kind of stuff for 15, because it's a little bit more work, a little bit more demanding of the labor, physical labor and stuff. And so then I started just doing yard work at $15 an hour. And I was really stoked with that. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. $15 an hour, that's good, And this is just, something to do on the side. Like I said, I was just wanting to get leaves, and then it just snowballed into something else. And now, 10 years later, I have worked my way up somehow to $20 an hour. And it's a beautiful thing. Okay, let me put you guys in the wheelbarrow here. Take you on a ride. Got a bunch of ants crawling around my phone right now. Maybe you'll see an ant go over the camera. So yeah, guys, so I started out just offering to clean up people's yards so I could get the leaves, and I was doing that at $10 an hour. And then, see, the trick was, as I said, if you want me to take the bags and you want me to take them to the dump, then that'll be an extra $1 per bag. So depending on how big their cleanup was, how big their yard was, how much leaves that they had, that would then determine an extra, $5, $10, $20. I've never done 20 bags worth of yard work. 10 was probably the most I ever done. So yeah, guys, so this is something that you do, very, very minimal tools. I got a pair of gloves that cost me like $25 for a nice good pair of cowhide leather. I got me a little, this is like a little tool, $5 to $10 for a little painter's scraping tool. I was turned on to this tool by another individual who did yard work, and he saw me pulling the weeds by hand and with like a pick, and I was like over here he's like, hey, try this out, and he handed me a little painter's thing, and usually they're wider. This one I borrowed from the client today. And so yeah, these are amazing. They get right up under the roots and just cleans it up. So I can go through and clean up like so much of the yard here. I got all this spurge right here, but then you can see like all over there, it's all been cleaned. No spurge. A little bit of grass right here. Or no, that's not grass. That's some kind of tumbleweed that's gonna come up. So I just gotta trim around the edge here. Follow the red rocks. Beautiful area, beautiful yard here. And so yeah, it's a minimal startup. Even, this could be a zero cost startup, because throughout the years, a lot of my clients, I've found out, homeowners, they tend to own all of their yard tools. They have all their own tools, their own mowers, their own everything that they need to keep their yard up. The problem is they don't have the time, the energy, maybe the capability. There's some individuals that I work for that are in wheelchairs. There's some who have some sort of physical ailments and conditions that doesn't allow them to do the yard work on their own. And then, there's people who are just so busy that they just don't got the time. But they want to keep a nice house, keep a nice home, keep a nice yard. So, instead of doing it themselves, they figure, well, they'll just work because that's what they're doing, and then they'll just pay someone else to come do that work for them, right? So then they're basically paying me for me to offer this devotional service to them, and in exchange for my time and my energy, they pay me to come out and do the work that is actually this is their work, right? Any homeowner, usually this is the work that they have to do, required to keep a home. But you can always delegate that job and the service. So one thing that I've learned throughout the last 10 years is that a lot of these individuals, they got their own tools, and a lot of them are willing to allow me to use their tools so I don't have to bring my own. Now, some people are like, well, yeah, that's all good and all fine and dandy, but I can't get to any job because I don't have a car, right? So a lot of people will be like, yeah, well, there's got to be some times when you need a vehicle and you got to bring some of your yard tools, right? And you would think so. But the truth of the matter is this is pretty much the only tools that I bring. These are the only tools that I've invested in. And this one isn't mine, but the one that I have, I don't know where it's at. It's at home somewhere. Took it out of my backpack when I shouldn't have, because then I was like, oh, rushing out the door and forgot it. So yeah, a lot of people are like, well, yeah, you could do yard work if you got a car and you got a vehicle, but I actually ride my bike to pretty much every job that I do. But see, the only thing about that is that I always ride my bike. So I'm already ready to ride. I am fit enough to handle going long distances if I need to. I can utilize our public transit system. That's one thing is here in Albuquerque, we actually have a free bus ride transit system, which is awesome, guys. So amazing. Nice. So yeah, guys, if you need to earn some money, you can easily utilize Nextdoor.com. You can try to connect with people on Facebook, but it seems like Facebook is a hard one. People they just commenting away, posting away. They'll say, hey, I need your help. And you're like, okay, let's set up something. And then they never get back to you because they're too busy scrolling away, posting up their things and stuff. But Nextdoor.com, that's a place that I would recommend if anyone. There's a lot of young individuals I've been noticing that are coming up. They're wanting to do some yard work and raise some funds. There's one child who's one teenager, 17 years old, and he needs to raise his own sports equipment and school supplies, and he wants to get his own gear, his own clothing to wear for school, you know? That way he's not relying on his parents. Maybe his parents told him it's time to get a job. If you want to get those clothes that are way too expensive, you don't want to shop at Walmart anymore, then you got to get a job. You know, my dad told me that years ago. When I was like 15, I was a skater. And he took me to Payless. He took me to Payless Shoe Source. And I told him, Dad, I need better shoes than Payless, man. I was a hardcore skater back then. Street skater, you know. I used to do all kinds of jumping with doing ramps and, you know, a lot of street, you know, curb tricks and handrails and mini pipes and all kinds of stuff. And I went through the pair of Payless shoes. I think they were like Keds or some cheap brand like that. And I went through them in a week. So my dad took me outside to the sidewalk, and he's like, hey, you see all those homes over there? You see all those homes over there? They all have yards, and they all need someone to help do yard work. He says, I'll let you borrow my tools, my mower and everything. You just make sure that you keep the gas full and you put everything away and you don't break it. So that was when I got started doing yard work, back when I was 15 years old and I was a skater. My dad actually was the one who got me into it because of that. So if you need to make 20 to 30 bucks an hour, and like I said, I only ask 20 an hour, but I have clients who love the work that I do because I'm sitting here by hand picking each weed. I'm not just like weed whacking it to where it's just going to come back with more of vengeance, you know, like these are coming up by the root. And so because of my work ethic and you know, I'm always prompt on time or as close to being on time as I can. You know, when I'm taking a bus and a bike, I'll tell them I'll be there about 8ish, and that'll, you know, today I got here at 8:20. And you know, because I was taking a bus, I actually had to get ready to get out the door by 6:30 in the morning to get here by 8 o'clock or 8ish. And I also had to sacrifice one day, one night of having my daughter back with me. And I had to ask her mom to keep her one more night so I didn't have to rush to take her to school and then come here, because then I would have been 2 hours later and it would have been a lot hotter. We got some nice cloud coverage today, as you can see, so that's been wonderful. But I've been training myself and acclimating myself to this sort of conditions, to the heat, these extremities. So, you know, this isn't something that just anyone and everyone can do, that's for sure. I know that. But if you are a go-getter and you are physically fit and pretty healthy, you know, I'm pushing 50, guys, and I'm still doing this stuff. And as you can see, I'm on my hands and my knees, but I got my old skate pads here. See, skateboarding comes in handy with some yard work, guys. And so, you got to definitely have the stamina and the physical strength and dexterity to be able to continue to do this for hours. You know, I really don't take a break. I might stop and get a drink here in a little bit, But I've been going since 8:30. It's now pushing 11:30, 3 hours, and I haven't taken a sip of water yet. Like I said, I've acclimated myself to these conditions. I've been working in yard work and stuff for a really long time. So I can handle this sort of heat and not put myself through any sort of heat stress, heat stroke, dehydration, anything like that, because I know my body, I know the signs, and I can tell right now that I'm sweating, but there's a little bit of a breeze, so I'm nice and cool. And today I'm working on a new yard. This is a brand new client, a new yard here. Beautiful area. We actually landed our hot air balloon just right over here one year, a couple years ago. It's way up in the heights. I had to ride the bus as far as I could go, and then ride. You know, I thought it was gonna be a little short bike ride from what the map looked like. I was like, oh yeah, it's just right there. It's not just right there. It's up a long ways from Montgomery all the way to Paseo. That's Paseo del Norte, I think, right there. So it's quite a ways up here, guys. So I actually had to dedicate myself to coming up this far. I set up the time before remembering that, oh yeah, school's back in session. We just got started with school last week, and so it just slipped my mind because it's not something that's been in my schedule. You know, last week was my child's first week, and it is her birthday today, guys. And so happy birthday to her, 12 years old. Amazing. Such a beautiful little lady. And so smart, amazingly smart. 2 years advanced than anyone else in her class. All her peers are 13 and 14, and she's barely turning 12. All right, that's awesome. So I just finished this whole side right here. Look at that. So this is a pretty big a yard and area. I got one more area to do over here, and then I got to go inside, and then I got to go all the way in the backyard still. So I got a couple more hours still to do, but I just wanted to share with you guys that if you guys want to, if you have, you know, the time and the capacity, the physical ability, the strength, and the ability to be out here in the heat to handle this, you can make 20 to 30 bucks an hour just getting started with little to no cost. You know, today, like I said, this is a new client who's never met me before, already offering to allow me to use the tools, wheelbarrow, other hand tools, things like that. So I didn't need to drag things that I might need with me on the bus, which is a hard thing to do. And so so yeah, you could actually get started doing yard work and stuff today. Just make a post, like I said, use nextdoor.com or anything like that. Make a post. You got to be on time. You got to be poignant. You got to be legit. You can't be sketchy and a thief. You know, you want to be honest and trustworthy to where they can trust you with their tools. They're being in their home, in their yard, things like that. So if this is someone, if such as yourself, and you can do this, well, go on ahead and make that post. If you want any kind of recommendations, considerations, any kind of questions, advice, or anything like that, just hit me up right here, comment below, let me know. If you're also doing this right now, I know that there's a lot of channels that are doing yard work and things. If you want to see more yard work and just watch me work and stuff, let me know. Give me a thumbs up, comment below, be sure to subscribe. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna take a little water break here, my first break of the day, and continue rocking on. All right, beautiful. You guys have a beautiful day. Make 20 bucks an hour today. See you soon.